Namaste friends, my name is Dr. Vikrant Singh Tomar. I am convener United Consciousness. United Consciousness is a global organization promoted by Project Self Incorporation USA and Bharat. Dear friends, some time back, one news shook the world. In the war zone of Syria, a 3-year-old child, badly wounded, was admitted to the hospital. Doctors could not save him, but before his death, that child looked at the doctor and said, "I am going to tell everything to the God." And the world really stood still. Every new child is a message of divine to us that the Creator is still not upset with us. But the mindset of division leads to struggles and leads to wars. The time has come that we should see oneness beyond these divisions, because we are already one in our worries for our kids. We are one and similar in our concerns for our family. We are one in our pursuit of happiness. We are one in our quest of peace. We are one in our struggle of avoiding pain. We are one in our concern for future. We are one in our consciousness. So dear friends, united consciousness is not the way, it is the only way to save humanity today. It is a way for a new world order. It is a way where united consciousness envisage a new world where education will bring forth the best in everybody. It will liberate people, where the focus of education will be life, not only livelihood. Where in schools, kids will be taught that happiness and peace is the dashboard of life. Where the language of superlatives and comparatives will not be used often. Where economics will talk more about gross domestic happiness rather than gross domestic product. Where war will be taught only in the books of history. Where stress and tension will remain only in the books of physics, not in humanity. Where depression will go back to find its place in the books of economics, not in human psychology. Where nations will be the units of economic development, social and ethnic upliftment, but not the boundaries of human freedom and human expression. Where we share this planet with other species, where we, instead of talking only on democracy, we will be talking on ecocracy, where we will incorporate all the plants, nature, animals, and give them their righteous place, their appropriate place in this planet, where even they are applauded and respected as a being on this planet. So dear friends, the time has come to choose, and there are two choices. One choice is united consciousness, and another is divisive catastrophe. Because we make choices, and finally choices make us. So let's choose wisely. Let's choose love. Let's choose togetherness. Let's choose united consciousness. In order to choose united consciousness and celebrate it, we are organizing on 11th, 12th, 18th and 19th of December a global spiritual fiesta, United Consciousness Conclave 2021. So let's together explore united consciousness with amazing speeches and panel discussion. Experience united consciousness through meditation and yoga, and express united consciousness through dance and music. Around 100 countries will be participating in some or the other delegates or representatives of around 100 countries will be there as spectators or participants in this global program. I welcome all of you to sit back, relax, and enjoy this beautiful journey of united consciousness. I would also like to thank Indian Council of Cultural Relationships to promote this event, to support this event world over. Thank you very much.
I'm very honored and delighted to welcome our performance from the organization Play for Change. Play for Change is not only the organization, but it is a movement created to inspire and connect the world through music and break the boundaries. They reimagine a world connected by music to spread a global message of hope and unity. Playing for Change was born in 2002 as a shared vision between co-founder Mark Johnson and Whitney Kroenke. This musical journey resulted in the award-winning documentary, a cinematic discovery of street music. Today they are playing Sachita song. In the group we have Adrian Bruno from Argentina, Afro Reggae Choi from Brazil, Afro Reggae Drum Group from Brazil, Binho from Brazil, Sinsona D. Esses from Brazil, Courtney Bam Dedrick from Jamaica, Enzo Bruno from Argentina, Elo Ferreira from Cape Verde, Luis Conte from Cuba, Martino da Cuca from Brazil, Neol Cyrus from Argentina, Pritinho da Serriha from Brazil, Dr. Janardhan Mitta from India, R. Shruti from India, Ronaldo Popo from Brazil, Rigoberto from Cuba, Sindhavi from India, Sandra Disa from Brazil, Walters from Brazil, and Nino Josel from Spain.
Deus, que os homens encontrem os seus passos perdidos e que os sonhos despertem esses olhos dormidos, que o amor transborde e vivamos em paz. Que os dias terminem com os braços cansados e que a sorte só queira estar ao teu lado, que a dor não me assombre nem me cause desvelo. Peça a Deus. Satitaranda para Brahma, Purushottama para Matma, Shri Bhagavati Sameda, Shri Bhagavate Namaha.
Peça a Deus que nos mande do céu muita sabedoria, um amor verdadeiro, que ninguém passe fome, um abraço de irmão, que vivamos em paz. Ei, que terminem as guerras e também a pobreza, encontrar alegrias entre tanta tristeza, que a luz ilumine as almas perdidas e um futuro melhor. Satitaranda para Brahma, Purushottama para Matma, Shri Bhagavati Sameda, Shri Bhagavate Namaha.
On behalf of United Consciousness, I thank Play for Change musical group for coming onto the platform of United Consciousness and giving such a wonderful performances. Thank you so much. It's my honor to invite our guest Shri Dinesh K. Patnaik. He is a career diplomat of the Indian Foreign Services with experience of over 25 years in a variety of interesting and challenging assignments. He has served an Indian mission in Geneva, Dhaka, Beijing, and Vienna. At headquarters, he has served in the European West External Publicity, Africa, and UN Division. Shri Patnaik served as a Deputy Chief of Mission at the Indian Embassy in Vienna from 2009 to 2012. He was India's ambassador to Cambodia from 12 to 15. He was India's ambassador to the Kingdom of Morocco from 2015 to 16. He was Deputy High Commissioner of India to London from 16 to 18. He was Additional Secretary, Indian Ocean Region from November 18 to July 19. And thereafter Additional Secretary, CVP and OIA from July 2019 to January 20 in the Ministry of External Affairs. He is currently Director General in Indian Council for Cultural Research. Mr. Patnaik holds a master's degree in Business Administration from the Indian Institute of Management, Kolkata. He holds a master's degree in Advanced International Studies from the University of Vienna and certificate in International Studies from the Diplomatic Academy, Vienna. So, ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together to welcome Shri Dinesh K. Patnaik.
Namaskar. Good evening to everybody. Um, I'm really delighted to be here at this United Consciousness Conclave 2021. When Dr. Vikrant called me, I was not so sure what to expect. But what I've been seeing over the last 4 days, and I've been watching a few of the episodes, is that there is a lot that is happening in this whole question of spirituality. And spirituality is something which, in the beginning, I found it difficult to understand. Difficult to understand what is exactly spirituality. And in fact, there are lots of definitions of spirituality. The one thing that I could understand is spirituality is different from organized religion, and that spirituality is actually a search of the individual for finding his own self. And that is what is important, because in the end, the self matters. The collective is only an expression of all the self put together. So it's a wonderful thing that Dr. Vikrant and his team are doing on United Consciousness. Not only that, to do such a magnificent event, the whole idea of one consciousness, one being, and to do it not only through speeches and talks and through different aspects that we're doing, but through music, through yoga, through dance, through all the medium that we have. Because in the end, spirituality permeates everything that we have. Whether it's a cuisine we eat, whether it's the music we hear, the dance we see, whatever we do, spirituality suffuses through all of them. Today, he wanted me to speak on spirituality and world peace. Now, that's quite a big challenge, because world peace is something which has been a chimera always, has been something we have been trying for many years, but we've never succeeded. And I don't think so, neither in my lifetime, nor in any lifetime, are we going to ever succeed in getting world peace. But there is no harm in trying for it. And spirituality, I believe, is one of the few things which can help us reach towards it. The reason being, whenever we look at world peace, we are actually targeting not the inner peace of individuals, but the external peace that we try to put together. Now, human beings have many reasons to have problems with each other, whether it is religion, whether it is language, whether it is color, whether it is caste, whether it's creed, human beings find everything that they need to fight. There's an anger in human beings which I've never understood how it is, but there is. And you see it today in social media. You see it all around us. There's anger that is happening all the time. People are angry, the kind of remarks that come on social media. There is a frustration in people, and the pandemic hasn't helped. During this time of the pandemic, anger, depression, anxiety, all of this has increased, which means that people are finding it difficult to understand what is their purpose of life. Why are they here? And the only way they can do that is to lash out at people, the anger that is there. Even though we today, if you look back in history, are at the best time of our life. Best time when war is at the least. We do not have a world war happening. We do not have massive genocide happening. We do not have massive killing of people happening. People are at peace, but there are still conflict, and conflict is everywhere around us. But this conflict is individuals' frustration coming out. And how do you deal with it? You deal with it through spirituality, because spirituality, in the end, is a search for oneself, is a search for peace within. And how does it come? I mean, why would we search for peace within? I mean, if God wanted us to get peace within, He would have given it to us. Why does He need us for us to search for it? Because He gave us choice, the choice to be what we want to be. And that is important, because in the end, choice matters, because you choose what you want to be. And in spirituality, that is the essence. If you look at the Upanishads, if you look at our Vedas, the whole idea of human being is one, but we have different choices in our life. This is the big difference that I talk about between the Eastern and Western philosophy. In the Western philosophy, there are two sides. There is a dark and a light. There is God and there is Satan. In the Hindu philosophy, we do not have two sides. We are both are the same two sides of a same coin. We do not have a Satan. I mean, Yamaraj, who is supposed to be the closest that we can talk about, Satan is also a God. Our gods are fallible. Our gods are not pure light. They're shades of light, shades of dark. Similarly, evil is not pure evil. I mean, Ravana, who is supposed to be a demon god, had so many qualities which make him wonderful, a great person, even sometimes greater than gods themselves. So the whole idea is, in the Indian philosophy, spirituality suffuses every day of your life. Every day of your life, you see spirituality around you, whatever we do. But we have not been able to manage to put it together into action, into oneself, into discovering oneself. We used to do it earlier, but somehow we have, as a nation, as a society, as humanity, lost the ability to get spirituality into ourselves. And that is the reason conclaves like this and people like Dr. Vikrant and people, there are many, many other individuals who are working together to see how can we bring spirituality back into our life. How do we discuss different aspects of spirituality? What is it that is spirituality? How do you look for it? We can search our whole life, but we can never find spirituality if we don't know what we are looking for. So in the end, you're looking for peace, inner peace, the ability to be comfortable with everybody else. Dr. Deepak Chopra had said long back, Deepak Chopra, he said, the journey of man is to be aware of everything around him. You keep on being aware. You are first aware of the physical surrounding around you. You are aware of food. You are aware of clothing. You are aware of everything around you. But you're never aware of what is inside you. And that awareness is the beginning of the awareness of the world, of the system, of your consciousness. Because when you're aware of what is inside you, then you're aware of what you lack, what you need, what is it that will bring spirituality to you. So these are different things which have to come together in one whole, in which your search for spirituality is your search for peace, will transmit itself into a search for peace for the globe itself. I mean, you cannot, at the end of the day, countries fight with each other, wars are held, people are fighting with each other. But they are ultimately individuals who take decisions. Now, when individuals take decisions, if they are not at peace with themselves and they are always at war with themselves, how can they bring peace to the world? The whole idea is to bring peace to the world by traveling through the individual. And so the individual as such has so many concepts of inside himself, his anger, his envy, his hatred, his jealousy. There is also love, there's piety, there is empathy, there is sympathy. You have all aspects inside you. The awareness that what are the aspects which bring peace to you, which makes you be comfortable with yourselves, which makes you be able to go to sleep without worrying about things, which makes you be kind to your neighbor, kind to your friend, kind to the world around you. All these are aspects which come out through spirituality. Now, religions in the overall system have always tried to harness spirituality. They have tried to take spirituality and make it out as if religions can give you spirituality. Of course, they can. Religions have actually organized spirituality. But that spirituality, again, is an exterior spirituality, a spirituality in which you work together with others to bring the spirit into you. But in the end, your experience of religion is an inner experience where you can experience inside yourselves. That is the reason, even in the Hindu philosophy, we technically said that every human being has a God to himself. He need not go to a temple to be religious, because spirituality means God resides in you all the time. So these all aspects are something which we need to discuss. We not just spirituality as a as concept, but how does spirituality suffuse through all aspects of our life? How does it affect our daily work? How does it make us better individuals? How does spirituality help science? Where does the boundaries of science finish, and where do the boundaries of spirituality? Or is this one continuum, one whole, when which spirituality and science belong to the same continuum, and that we cannot see any difference? Einstein used to say that where science fails, spirituality comes, and where spirituality fails, science helps a little bit in helping you understand the world around you. So these are things which we need to discuss, which we need to work towards. And these are wonderful concepts. These are concepts which the United Consciousness Conclave is trying to explain, which trying to discuss, which trying to debate. We need more such efforts, efforts which help us bring together people to study how is it, how does consciousness work? When you say one consciousness, one being, how does it work? It's just very simple words, but very profound, deep meanings. So, at the end, I would just like to say thank you very much to all the wonderful organizers, especially Dr. Vikrant, who's put this all together. We at ICCR are delighted to be a part of this United Consciousness Conclave, and I thank all the organizers, and I really congratulate them on a wonderful work done. I also thank all the participants. I listened to some music. I really missed it. I would ask Dr. Vikrant to put it together in a package and send it to me, because I really love to watch it again and again. I hope that all of these things are recorded and kept, because this is a brilliant thing. And I'm positive about one thing, that I'm going to be associated with United Consciousness for the rest of my life at least, because this is a wonderful thing. And so thank you very much, Dr. Vikrant, and thank you to your entire team for putting this together. And I look forward to participating with you in the future. Thank you very much, and
Thank you.
namaskar.
Thank you very much, sir. And we are so inspired listening to you. How did you mention that in this post-COVID and Omicron times, where people are frustrated and are in anger, the identification of purpose of life is really very much important. And as you rightly said, once we get peace within ourselves, ability to be comfortable with the surroundings, then certainly that peace will disseminate from us to others also, because as you rightly said, big decisions are taken by individuals, which we call war or peace in any ways. So I'm sure that after this event, in association of ICCR, as you said, that people who are at war with self, they will find some peace, so that world will also find some peace. And as you mentioned that Indian wisdom says that God is within us, and once I realize God in myself, we'll be able to see God in others also, and to create a better, peaceful world around. We are so inspired with your presence, sir. You have always blessed us. Earlier, you blessed us in the form of association with ICCR, and now you are blessing us with your own association. We are honored, sir. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Regards.
On behalf of United Consciousness, I thank Shri Dinesh K. Patnaik for coming onto the platform of United Consciousness. Thank you so much. I'm privileged to announce our next eminent speaker, who is the specialist of Ayurveda. Please welcome Dr. Jose Ruge Ribeiro from Brazil. He is Doctor of Medicine specialized in intensive care and postgraduated in Ayurveda, Yogacharya by Sudha Dharma Mandalam. Dr. Jose Ruge is a president in institutions such as Sudha Yoga and Ayurveda, Kalayasa Ayurveda Clinics, Shri Vajra Foundations, Brahma Vidyalaya Yoga School, Sudha Sabha Yoga Ashram, and Annapurna Natural Foods. He is a coordinator of the Ayurveda postgraduate course of the Italiano Brasilia University, Brazil, and president of the World Yoga and Ayurveda movement, Ayurveda sector. He is also the member of the International Academy of Ayurveda, Pune, India, and a member of the editorial board of several international scientific journals. So put your hands together to welcome Dr. Jose Ruge Ribeiro.
Namaste. First of all, I would like to thank Dr. Vikrant, our friends from Suryananda, Mario Bianchi, and all the members of Night Consciousness for this invitation to be in this important event that brings together so many people in so many countries around fraternity, harmony, and give peace among all beings. In my 40 years of medical practice, serving thousands of patients in my observation, in the large number of yoga and Ayurveda practitioners, I often get people who say to me, Doctor, I would like to tell you a secret and I would like my family to did know. Even though they are extraordinary people who take great care of me, love me. I have great friends. I am successful in my work. I am prosperous, but still I feel unhappy. I don't know why I feel unhappy. The word health organization describes health as a state of complete physical, mental, social, and spiritual well being, and not merely the absence of disease. In Ayurveda, health is seen as the balance between body, prana, the vital energy, mind, and soul. So, nurturing the soul's need should be a fundamental goal of life. Spirituality is what feeds the soul. So, a person can have prosperity and all the pleasures of life, but if he does not feed the soul's need, he or she won't feel happy. And what is satisfying of needs of the soul? Vedic culture tells us that we are eternally evolved souls who temporarily occupy a body and a mind in this world for our evolution. The fundamental problem is what sage Patanjali describes as identification or asmita. Sage Patanjali described that the fundamental cause of our suffering is avidya or ignorance. We don't know who we really are, and therefore we identify with what we are not. In other words, we identify with the vehicles our souls has built to inhabit this world. We identify, therefore, with the body and mind. However, our greatest identification is with the mind, with our emotions, our beliefs, with our thoughts, with our feelings. If a person has a kidney stone, when he goes to describe himself to another person, she or he does not say, I am made up of a head, trunk, limbs, and a kidney stone, because he does not really identify with the stone. But when we have anger, sadness, fear, we identify with them. At that moment, we are the anger, the fear, the sadness. To build our inner peace, we must disidentify with flow of our thoughts, mental patterns, and focus our consciousness in the divine presence with us through contemplation, meditation, mantras, worship, and rituals. It connects us to what we really are, eternal being, pure consciousness, pure bliss. We all know how difficult it is to ever overcome this conditioning of identification with the mind. Arjuna says to Sri Krishna in the Bhagavad Gita, "Oh Lord, controlling the mind is more difficult than holding the wind. How can I control it?" Then Sri Krishna replies, "O du of great arms, in fact, controlling the mind is more difficult than control wind, but it can be achieved through abhyasa and vairagya. Abhyasa means constant practice, self-discipline, simplifying life, constancy, fervor, shraddha. Abhyasa means, or vairagya means this passion, keeping the heart free, compassionate, devout, but without attachment, following the principles of no violence, truthfulness, of serving all beings. The act of service is a great therapy for the ego and the mind, and engage in meditative practice. We can say that these are the four pillars of inner peace: ahimsa, no violence; satyavachana, truthfulness; lokakainkarya, the service of the world; and dhyana, or meditation. He or she who, through these four pillars, contemplating the divine presence in his life, whatever the path of connection with the divinity that the person feels more in line with, this person obtains peace of mind. And we realize that one who is at peace in naturally happy. In other words, if the person have peace in our mind, this peace produce bliss, happiness. And if the peace comes to the mind, comes happiness, and then the person is more attractive. She or he aggregate units, harmonize, does not divide, does not conflict, does not separate, does not create barriers. Therefore, our path to building a more harmonious, fraternal world must go through building inner peace in each individual. There is no political doctrine that can force human beings to be fraternal, harmonious, just. Just building that inner peace in each individual, and that is our great mission to help our beings to build that inner peace. This is spirituality, which also transcends any religious dogma and unites all beings, worshipping the one being, the Supreme, who resides in the heart of our beings, in the subtle chamber of the heart, shining like millions of suns. Koti Surya Prakasham. Our conditional existence in this world is fraught with frustration. There is no way to us to fulfill all the desires that inhabit our minds. Frustration is existential. So, how do you live with life's natural frustrations and still have peace? Only through equanimity in the face of joy and sadness, like and dislike. Keep the mind equanimous. For that, we need to develop mental immunity. This is a very beautiful concept of Ayurveda, mental immunity. This is a particularly important expression of Ayurveda. Just as we develop physical immunity, which allows us to face viruses, bacteria, and fungi in the environment without getting sick. And this, from my point of view, was the great medical lesson of the COVID-19 pandemic, that developing immunity is more important than that develop antibacterial, antiviral, and parasitical agents, as Ayurveda has already explained thousands of years ago. We must develop mental ojas, bala, with our Ayurvedic expressions for mental immunity. You might know people who hear a simple no and fall ill, either physically, or from a panic attack, or from anger or depression. These people do not have mind immunity, adequate sleep, health lifestyle, use of medicinal herbs made rasayana, known as nootropics in modern terminology, regular practice of yoga, meditation, and relaxation are tools that help us to conquer the mind immunity. This end of the year in our Western calendar, we wish that all beings awaken this awareness of divine worship and a life based on the principles of an eternal, universal, incorruptible by time ethics, the inheritance of all beings given by all sages, eternal guardians of evolution. For that, we are very pleased to participate in this event because it's a great event to stimulate all the people to increase that immunity, mental immunity, and to resist of all the stress of the life in all the senses. But for that, we have to know really what we really are, the divine presence of us in us. I am God. Aham Atma Asmi. I am really Atma, the ser, the being, the all pervading divinity, consciousness. Again, I thanks Dr. Vikrant and all the participants of this movement, this conclave, to give me the opportunity to stay here with you. And I think the dharma of all of us is promote this inner peace. This inner peace promote uh, happy, and the happy promote all the fraternity in the humanity. May all beings be happy. Shubhamastu Sarva Jagatam. Namaste.
Thank you. Thank you very much, respected Dr. Ruge. It was very inspiring thing and speech that you mentioned about holistic well-being as a harmonious body, prana, mind, and soul. And you rightly said that the core of all suffering is avidya that leads to asmita and that goes for wrong identity. And that leads to sadness. And when we are sad, I was so happy to listen when you said that when we are sad, we identify ourselves as a part and we don't see it as complete. So that I never thought things like that, but it's amazing that you rightly identify how we people think. And then you rightly said that there is a Arjuna in everybody of us who is really struggling for peace. And in order to get peace, we need abhyas and vairagya. And you also gave us tips to do proper abhyasa. You mentioned about the importance of equanimity. And for that, you coined a beautiful word. You said mental ojas. It is a word that I heard for the first time, the use of it together. And you mentioned about mental immunity, importance of it in COVID times. You also told about herbs to be used, yoga and meditation to be used as a tool to assure equanimity. We are so blessed to get enriched by your long experience. And I'm sure that you'll be always associated with us. Keep showering your love and affection and guidance to us. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
On behalf of United Consciousness, I thank Dr. Jose Ruge Ribeiro for coming onto the platform of United Consciousness and sharing his views. Thank you so much, Dr. Jose. I feel delighted to welcome and introduce our next guest, Mr. Anton Vesjak. He is the co-founder and director of Bhakti Vedanta Institute Slovenia, branch of the Bhakti Vedanta Institute International, the academic wing of the International Society for Krishna Consciousness ISKCON, founded by A.C. Bhakti Vedanta Swami. He has received PhD from Mechanical Engineering at University of Ljubljana. In 2003, at the end of his graduate study, he came in contact with the Vedic knowledge presented in Bhagavad Gita and Bhagavad Purana. His interest in the Vedic sciences for consciousness, yoga, and metaphysics increased, and he shifted his research focus and dedication to the Vedic wisdom and practice, especially the tradition of Bhakti Yoga. His main focus and interest is in value-based education, research, and application of spiritual technologies, holistic personal growth and well-being models, building sustainable communities and leadership for higher consciousness. As member of Latin America chapter of ISACA, participated in the training and implementation of the COVID standards and the BSI standards for security and risk reductions in computer architecture as member of Global Association of Risk Professionals. So, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Mr. Anton Vesjak.
Hare Krishna, Namaskar, Pranam. Dear respectful ladies and gentlemen, I'm very honored to be with all of you, and we'd like to express our most gratitude to organizers of this wonderful event, United Consciousness, Dr. Vikrant. A little invocation for this occasion, auspicious occasion. Little prayer. Om Gyana Timirandasya Gananjana Shalakaya Chakshur Unmitam Yana Tasmai Shri Gurve Namaha Namo Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Vishnu Gudare Shrimate Vedanta Swami Namane Namo Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Vishnu Gudare Shrimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Namane Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pacharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatade Shatarine. So we ask our, of course, predecessor teachers who hand down these divine messages and knowledge through the millennium, and ask all of you, dear guests, dear audience, for these words which will be spoken in the presentation to be beneficial, enlightened, and of an upliftment for everyone. So we were asked to speak a little bit on the topic of spirituality and happiness. Of course, the topic is vast, and we do little perspectives on different points, and we know that we are living in times where situation in society is becoming more and more challenging all these things with the pandemic situation in the world brings more stress, suffering, anxiety to probably the large scale of population, maybe more, even more than whatever we experienced before or we used to be. And topic of happiness, of course, or absence of suffering is quite very relevant, especially these days. And every activity which any living creatures, human, are strive for. So how we define what is happiness actually drives our life, drives our lifestyle, defines everything. So it's important that we try to understand what happiness actually is. It's probably a very popular question and quest. So to answer this question, of course, there's many perspectives on this. So we try to present something from the Vedic point of view, from the teachings of Srimad Bhagavad Gita and Bhagavad Purana, the crash jewels of all Vedic wisdom. And so before we try to see different perspective on the topic, one question is very important to be answered. Of course, no need to answer now, and that is ontological question. This is part of philosophy which defines who we are, what is world around us, and what's the aim of life. All these questions are included in the ontology. And the question is, are we human beings with spiritual experience, or are we spiritual beings with human experience? It's a kind of a play of words, but behind these questions are very important principles. And defines, of course, within our topic, defines the happiness. And basically, according to the Vedic wisdom, Srimad Bhagavad Gita, we can categorize happiness in many categories, or in many ways we can categorize, grade the happiness. And for the sake of discussion, let divide in two main areas. One is like, let me say, external happiness, and the other is internal happiness. And as I mentioned, if we speak about external happiness, which can be, for example, the contact with the sense objects is one kind of happiness, fulfilling some kind of a needs of hunger, needs of protection, maybe needs of for similar basic needs which are there, and we can see that this kind of happiness which comes on this level is have two features. In Sanskrit, it's called chapala sukha, means that this kind of happiness is flickering and characterized with two features, as I mentioned. One is that is not sustainable, doesn't last long, right? If you're hungry and then we feel this need with with the food. Of course, there is a pleasure, a happiness out of that with the filled belly. But if we eat too much, then the opposite, we suffer again. So it's not doesn't last. This is one thing. Another thing that is that happiness in this level is also not fulfilling for the happiness which we strive for. It's like a drop of the water in the desert. It's there, but then no, we need more. So in modern society, it works like that, that it wants to intensify the sense pleasure into upper limits, but we see that happiness doesn't come satisfaction. Happiness doesn't come on this level. So this is, and we have, of course, this is what we have experienced in this modern age. What is happiness? But Vedic knowledge, wisdom, shares information that there are this external happiness, which is beyond our highest imagination. It explains the happiness up there in higher planets, even heavenly planets, and happiness from manipulation with the material energy, like cities, and even beyond this situation, which we are now have perception. Bhagavad explains that we are now conditioned with three energies called gunas, which conditions every aspect of our life. And of course, what we define as happiness is part of that. So that's a different category of happiness within that realm. So this is external happiness. And these external situations are changing non-stop, so it's very difficult to have some stability. And Bhagavad also explained the foundational principle of happiness, and that foundational principle is that if our mind, or our state of mind, is not peaceful, then there is no question of happiness. And we have experienced that in this age, there are so many distractions. We mentioned a few already in the beginning, that situation with health and that. And but it's not only, maybe some distractions are there which are maybe we don't see as a threat. For example, we have so many devices, which distracts our attention, and every 5 minutes or even more frequently there is constant notification. We got there, that message. So it's a distraction, and if the mind is distracted like that, in the so many different external impulses, there is no question of happiness. We can have external things unlimitedly, wealth and positions, but we are disturbed in mind, we cannot experience the happiness. So this is one perspective on happiness. But then, of course, we mentioned there is internal happiness, which is connected also with I mentioned with this topic about spirituality. So the aim of spirituality is to address this happiness. And as I mentioned about ontological premise, that are we spiritual being with human experience, that spirituality especially address this area. And Vedic wisdom, which comes to millennium, give amazingly details about this dimension, I would say, if we speak a little bit from that perspective. So this area, spirituality, address this ontological foundation that we are spiritual being, and that not that we are just being, we are individual person, according to the Bhagavad Gita, which has three amazing qualities, and that three amazing qualities is that we are eternal. That's why the idea or experience of that is not natural to us. Then next quality feature is that we are full awareness, full of knowledge. And the third, the most experiential quality is that we are blissful. We are blissful thing. We are blissful being, which and that's why the inherent desire or tendency to be happy is there. We are naturally, we want to maximize things or activities which increase our happiness, and we naturally want to decrease activities, items which decrease our experience of happiness. So, but as mentioned, the external impulse or triggers doesn't fulfill that need. Spiritual activity, which comes within the spirituality, they are very important. They're very important, and so if you want to function in this world, especially now, not now, but especially now, it's more obvious. We have to go in inner journey. We need to address this our identity, this our nature, and there are processes how we can address this. Of course, Vedic literature is full of that. Bhagavad Gita as a foundational scripture describes there is many
Dr. Antonji, I guess there is some network issue at your end. So you're not audible.
Project Self, a non-profit organization that stands for empowering humanity with essential life skills for building a strong foundation for lifelong wellness. Our programs help individuals to gain better health, emotional intelligence, and spiritual awareness. Classes include kids yoga, adult yoga, mindfulness meditation, and scriptural studies. Yoga for kids are designed to keep the kids as kids, resilient, focused, and fit. Kid-friendly program focus on their social and emotional well-being.
The ultimate solution prescribed by Krishna is the self-knowledge, because only with the self-knowledge all our sufferings and problems can be removed.
Understanding and learning scriptures will help you lead a life with its full potential. It will help you to find peace.
Thank you. It's
Thank you.
we apologize for this.
Thank you.
Thank you for your kind attention. Sorry for this technical difficulties.
No, it happens. Dr. Anton, so kind of you. Thank you very much for your presence today in this event. And so beautifully you defined happiness in both of the dimensions, material and internal happiness. And you used the word chapala sukha. And you, as you rightly said, that two things in this happiness is there, that it's not sustainable and it's not fulfilling. And then you guided our all audience that in order to get permanent peace, we need to see for the internal happiness, and as you rightly said, understanding that we are eternal and we are blissful. We are so honored with your presence and receiving divine message from ISKCON and divine message from Slovenia. We would also like to thank for your cooperation for stepping at the time of another guest because of some technical hassle at another guest end. So thank you very much for that kind gesture also. We are so honored with your presence. I hope that in future also you'll keep blessing us, Dr. Antronji. Thank you.
On behalf of United Consciousness, I thank Mr. Anton Westjack for coming on to the platform of United Consciousness and sharing his views. Thank you so much. I feel honored to welcome our next guest, Mr. Gabriel Arrezola. He is a kinesiologist and a physiotherapist by profession from the University of Mare de St. Andres. He has done numerous courses in yoga and meditation like Diploma in Motor Sciences and Human Development. Diploma in Yoga from Mexico. He has studied training and sports studies with a medical focus. He has been teaching yoga since 1995 in various educational institutions as yoga and massage teacher in La Paz in several cities in Bolivia, Argentina, Peru, Colombia, Chile, Paraguay, and Mexico. He is invited as a guest and participant in the 9 world meetings of yoga Yogismo in Mexico and Peru. He is a coordinator and collaborator in the AIYY Yoga and Restorative Yoga Teachers Training. He has been a professor of anatomy and physiology for the 3 years in the medical career of the France Tamayo University of Santa Cruz. He is currently working as an alternative therapist at the Center of Integral Therapies Elements, tutor teacher of the AIYY Yoga Teachers Training, yoga facilitator and personal development. He has authored many books like Massages, the Yoga of Contact, Anatomy and Risk Management in Yoga, The Initiate. So ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together to welcome Gabriel Arrezola.
Namaste, everybody. I am really thankful and honored to be here today. We will have a short yoga therapy session. Yoga therapy is a fusion between those infinite words, these big words of the yoga and the big word of the huge word of the therapy. Now, this practice is a small part of it. So sit in a comfortable position, maybe like a Sukhasana, Padmasana, if there's no problem with your knees, or a simple Sukhasana you can use for this practice. It's not a very complicated practice. And put your hands in your knees, inhale, exhale, and inhale, exhale through the nose, through your nose. And the fifth step is to smile. Don't forget to smile. Why smile? Because the most practice of yoga, you can see the pictures of yoga practitioners, and the face is like a little serious practice. It's okay, serious practice, it's great, it's okay. So the propose now is to smile. Why? Because when you activate your facial muscles and you can relax, it's an agonist-antagonist relationship. I mean, activate your facial muscles, and when you activate your facial muscles, your muscles from your mastical muscles will relax. So relax your jaw, smile, inhale, exhale, and move your thorax. Your chest move forward and backward. Inhale, exhale. Move forward and backward. Okay, inhale, exhale, forward, backward. Continuous moving. Inhale, exhale. It's a simple move, only forward and backward. Like your external bone, this side is going forward, and your external bone is going backward. And inhale, exhale. Good. It's not important how are you doing this exercise. You are doing good. It's okay. Inhale, exhale. Move your back. In this movement, you are moving your spinal cord, and it's very important because have a relationship with Shushumanari, a very important energetical channel. Inhale, exhale, continue. And inhale and exhale by your nose. And do not forget smile. Continue smiling. Okay. And now we will add a simple exercise. We will add something. It's a contraction, a double contraction. First, contract when you exhale, when you go backward, you contract your anus. Contract your anus. Close your anus. And when you go forward, contract your genitals. Close your genitals. When you go backward and contract your anus, it calls Ashwini Mudra. When you go backward and contract your genital, it calls Sacrali Mudra, woman, in women, and in men's Bahroli Mudra. And go back, Ashwini Mudra, forward, Sacrali Mudra, back, Ashwini Mudra, forward, Sahroli Mudra or Bahroli Mudra. Back, Ashwini Mudra, Bahroli Mudra, Ashwini Mudra, Sahroli Mudra. Don't forget smiling. Great. Smile and it feels great. Inhale, exhale for your nose, from your nose. Inhale, exhale, forward, back. Ashwini Mudra, Sahroli Mudra, Ashwini Mudra, Bahroli Mudra. Smile, continue smiling. Inhale, exhale. Great. Great. Moving a very important energetic channel, Shushumanari. Bien, now slow down until a final stop. Slow down until a final stop. Relax your shoulder. Smile and put your hand in the floor, your fingers in the floor, and now we will stretch or a large stretch. Go up this is my left arm, yeah, my left upper extremity, and you go up, rise up with your upper extremity left, and leave your fingers from your hand. Leave your fingers from your hand. Leave your arm from your head. Continue smiling and go to the right side while you stretch your left side. Relax. The important thing here is you leave your thorax from your pelvis. Your thorax is leaving your pelvis. And go. Leave your fingers from your hand and exhale. The same on the other side. Stretch the upper extremity from the right side. Inhale, exhale, relax your left shoulder. Inhale, exhale, and we will do it continuously. Inhale, exhale, inhale, smiling, continue smiling. Great. And feel the movement. Conscious of your body, of the movement. Great. Relax. Now, inhale, exhale, and we will twist the thorax. Inhale, exhale, the left side. Inhale, exhale, the right side. Inhale, exhale, and when you go twist to the left side or the right side, you see your neck twist backward. Exhale, inhale, exhale, left, right, okay, left, and right. And continue smiling. Very good. Now, slow down until a final stop. And then we will release forward your legs. Forward your legs, release forward your legs. And tense your quadriceps muscle. You will, your heels goes forward. Inhale, exhale. We will do it a Paschimottanasana, but this asana we will make a little change because flex your knees, press your peritoneum area, your abdominal area with your thighs, and your hand in your feet. Align your back. Inhale, exhale. Relax your shoulder and stay here. Just stay here and feel the benefits, the good effects of this posture, of this asana. Inhale, exhale. Relax your shoulder. Stay here. It's important, the silence, the quiet, the moment of nothing. And to see inside. Continue slowly. Release your feet. Continue. Tense your quadriceps muscles. Relax your shoulders. Your heels goes forward. This is Dandasana pose. And now, what we will do, we will tense, we will activate the deepest abdominal muscle. The deepest abdominal muscle is the transverse abdominal muscle. And For this, you only have to sink your belly button. Only you have to sink your belly button. Sink your belly button. Relax your shoulder. And lift your head from your body. Imagine that your head is leaving your body. And connect your transverse abdominal muscle. It's important breathing and continue smiling. Don't forget to smile. Do not forget to smile. Continue smiling and breathing. Slowly flex your knees and continue in a simple Sukhasana. And you can feel the very good benefits, very interesting effects of the yoga session of today. I am really thankful and honored to this invitation and to share a very little part of this big universe of the yoga therapy in this session.
Thank you very much, respected Gabriel ji. It was very important session that you took. I'm sure that our participants watching us from different parts of the world, audience will be largely benefit by these inputs about yoga and asanas that you gave. Indeed, this post-COVID world needs such inputs to have a better, healthy life and holistic being. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Doctor. I'm very honored to this invitation and grateful to share these beautiful things that are in this world.
Thank you.
Thank you.
On behalf of United Consciousness, I thank Mr. Gabriel Arrezola for coming on to the platform of United Consciousness. Thank you so much. Feeling of stress is an unfortunate reality of life experienced by all of us once in our lifetime. But once we start cultivating our spiritual thoughts, actions and beliefs, we uncover the meaning of our life, which will eliminate our stress. How to de-stress ourselves and have peace of mind? We have with us many experts who can guide us. So let's have a panel discussion on the topic spirituality and dealing with stress. In the panel, we have with us Ms. Canto Ravalio Soa, who is a pranic healer who heals physical, emotional and mental diseases, and Arhatic Yogini. She learned Arhatic Yoga by Master Chao Kok Shui. She is the founder of the association Young Talent Leaders in Madagascar. This association was founded in 2018. It provides leadership, entrepreneurship and artistical training to its members. She is Christian churchgoer. Her family has an evangelical singer group in the name of Maria Jews. She has done a master's in administration of finance, accounting and audit. She is currently preparing her master's memory with the theme Financial Profitability of Micro Company Service Provider.
Bharti ji is a passionate yoga practitioner with a vision to spread the goodness of yoga and meditation with everyone. Her institute is called Yog Bharati, located in Indore, Madhya Pradesh. Yog Bharati's mission is that yoga is a lifestyle that encourages one to live a healthy and balanced life. At Yog Bharati, yoga and meditation are used as a tool to help people achieve personal and professional growth. The yoga one practices in the class doesn't end after the session. It's molded into day-to-day life so that one can continue reaping the benefits of yoga. Yog Bharati provides comprehensive yoga, healing sound therapy and acupressure services for complete health and wellness solutions.
It gives me immense pleasure to introduce Mr. Amritanand Das, who is from Brazil. He is a great admirer of India, Indian history, and follows the Hindu religion. He is a seeker of truth and spirituality, found in ancient Sanatan Dharma, the arts, sciences, and the philosophy of India in an inspiration for Mr. Das. He is a graduate in history and did teacher's training course in Hatha Yoga and Vedanta in the line of Swami Shivanand. He also has studied Ayurveda and Jyotisha. He owns a tourism business focusing in India. He is a big devotee of Krishna.
In the panel, we have with us Mr. Badrinath Gaila. He has learned yoga from various traditional schools in India. He teaches various forms of holistic yoga science across the world and organized various yoga workshops and events across Europe and India, and also several workshops for corporate companies. He is currently established in Netherlands, where he founded Yoga Sadhana Yoga with Gaila. His organization is working on a mission to popularize the ancient, authentic Indian knowledge of yoga and help a million people to live a physically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually improved life by sharing ancient yogic wisdom. His vision is to enable people to live holistic and healthy lives and to make this world a better place to live in for future generations. Badrinath Gaila holds a civil engineering master's degree. He worked as a researcher at the University of Bradford, UK and Berkeley Heights, USA in the field of environment and climate change. He implemented several projects in the areas of agriculture, water sanitization, affordable housing, energy and education in rural villages. He has been recognized as a mentor of change by Niti Aayog Atal Innovation Mission and one of the Indian ambassadors of 100 Finland. Today's panel discussion will be moderated by Dr. Vikrant Singh Tobar, convener United Consciousness. Dr. Tomer is an acknowledged trainer, academician, scholar, writer, and a management consultant. He's a freelance trainer and served the cabinet ministers of state, MLAs, police officers, and tycoons of the business world. His aim and objective is universal brotherhood and happiness through harmonizing the knowledge from the ancient scriptures into our lives. So I welcome all our guests for panel discussion.
Namaste, friends.
Namaste.
And I welcome all of the audiences also from different parts of the world. We acknowledge your presence, Bharti ji. We acknowledge your presence, Alexander ji, Badrinath ji, and Kanto ji. A wonderful topic, very important and very much useful in present times. These subjects have got mixed into each other. I used to study depression in the books of economics, but now depression is connected with human day-to-day life. We used to study tension and stress in the books of physics, but now we are going to talk about stress in human life. It is in a way representing the growing mechanization of emotions in human lives also. Lots of physics intervention in human life or lots of material intervention. That's why the terms of economics are using in human lives very often. So we are going to talk about stress. We have a young panel over here. So let me begin with Mr. Badrinath ji. What do you think are the major stressors of the youth of today? You You train many youths in Netherlands. What do you think are the major stressors of youth today?
So I like with my experience, I have seen like mostly like the stresses are related to psychological or job related or emotional stresses. So these varies from inability to do concentrate and the difficulty in making the decision making, and lack of self confidence, and especially like adapting to the competitive world, and the growing concerns of about the job, family, money, and the personal safety. So these are the major things, like, and also like people has a lot of expectations and social pressures which are causing like people to be stressful, because it's very demanding from social end that we have to adapt to the requirements of the social needs. So these all things are causing like stressful life, especially the current youth, and the unexpressed emotions and positive and negative thoughts, which are the major causes. Like whenever I used to go to the classes, after having a class, they used to come and tell to me these are the problems, but you are considering them as a problem. Like you are the person who thinks, so you are the person who can only change that.
Fine.
So
So
yeah,
from
like these are the
Netherlands,
major.
Badrinath ji listed out the list. He gave a big list. There are so many things: job,
Yes.
emotions, decision making, lack of self confidence, competition, concern of safety, money, relationship issues, peer pressure, what not. Let's
Yeah.
go to Himalayas and let's know from Bharti and Nepal. You also meet lots of youth there. You train them, you teach them. You yourself are young. What do you think? What are the major stressors of youth today? We have just flipped the continent from Europe to Asia. Let's see. You may need to unmute, Bharti, please. Unmute and speak. Yes.
Okay. Namaste, everyone. Namaste from Nepal. Thank you so much, Dr. Vikranji, for inviting me into the panel discussion. So today's topic is very generic, but I'll try to give my point of view on that. But before that, I would like to ask all the viewers, all the panel guests, and to you, sir, also that. Do you think of any situation where stress has really given a positive impact in your life, maybe given a positive decision in your life? So if we think of that, there are so many I'm like incident where the stress has played a really positive incident, really positive attributes in our decision making. So I don't say that stress is always bad. It can be the bad as well as it can be good stress also. So before going towards the topic, we should understand what stress is actually. The stress is just a our mechanism, our sympathetic mechanism. It can be the flight or fight mode, which is we have like understood. Well, you have displayed at the start of the this session, right? So for me, what I see the youngsters. Like factors for the stress is the change. We say that change is inevitable, but uh, but every time, every moment, every second, the world is changing, the thoughts is changing, the desire is changing. So I think the most difficult thing to uh, cope up with this change is what makes someone more stressful, more can say in more problems. So I think for me the incapability to cope up with the change of
Okay.
the world, change of the mind, desire every time, that create more in very compact way, that create more
Thank you. Thank you
problem.
very much.
Yeah.
Bharti mentioned that stress is also can contribute positively. It can be post traumatic stress disorder, but at the same time, it can be post traumatic growth also. That are the aspects we'll be discussing. But she said that from her point of view, what she sees in Nepal and other parts of the world where she is connected, ability to cope up with the change and the demanding circumstances is one of the reasons. Let's flip the continent again. We have another youth from Madagascar, Kanto. Kento, you are leading organization and association of youth there in Madagascar. What are the major stressors of the youth in Madagascar or in African continent, wherever you are connected? What are the major stresses of the youth?
Yeah, Namaste at all.
Yes.
I think several matter of faith is young ask about how will be their future and also
Can
the
you speak a
energy.
bit more louder, Kento? Can you be louder?
Yeah, yeah. The several young ask how will be their future and
Mhm.
also energy of space is about their financial capacity and their study and their job.
Perfect. So we can see this that stressors are almost common from Asia to Africa to Europe. People are concerned about their future, studies, job, and a list is long. Now let's flip the continent again. Let's go to South America. For a quick understanding, Alexander ji, what are the stressors? You travel a lot, you make people travel also. You yourself are a frequent traveler, you meet people. What are the major stressors of youth today?
Namaste to all. Thanks for inviting me. Here in Brazil, I think it's the same as the rest of the world. The major cause of stress is anxiety, and anxiety can come from many ways. I think the issue more important is that the lack of understanding of ourselves, like what in Sanskrit it's called atmagyana, atmavidya. Like people don't realize who they are and what is the meaning of life. So they keep wandering around their desires without proper understand of what they really want. So this creates a lot of anxiety, and they can vary a lot in the human psyche. But I think the root is the lack of spiritual understanding of the nature of the soul, about the nature of the self. So this is the root of
Thank you.
all
Thank you.
anxiety.
So Alexander ji mentioned that anxiety is one of the big stressors he found, like they call FOMO, fear of missing out, and so many such things that which creates anxiety. And he says that lack of understanding about self, and people don't understand themselves, and that's why they start loving those people who understand them, and they are very happy. At least somebody is understanding me.
Yeah.
And he also mentioned that people are searching for the purpose of life and they don't have one. And that also creates confusion in them. So, audience from all parts of the world, you could see four people, four continents, same stresses. So, when the problem is same, it's a light of hope. When the problem is same, it means the solution will be same. So Alexander G pointed out that the problem is the root cause is lack of understanding about self. I'll come to Badrinath Ji. Badrinath Ji, in very specific terms, in the interest of time, what do you think is the root cause? These are the effects. But what is the root cause? What do you think?
I can say the growing desires of the
Desire.
people, yeah, and toxic relationships
Okay,
are
perfect.
the one of the major reason I have seen, like, and also the materialistic lives we are living.
Okay, perfect. So it reminds me of Lord Krishna when Arjuna asked, what is the reason? Krishna said, Esha Kamaha. It's the desire that is spoiling everybody. Okay. And second, as he said, that toxic relationships and the lifestyles that we have are the
Yeah.
root cause generally. Perfect. We'll come to Bharti ji. Bharti ji, in very less words, being very specific, what do you think is the root cause? You may need to unmute and say.
Okay. I think the root cause is we have forgot the coordination between our mind, body, and the soul. It's like we can say that it's our inability to handle this such a beautiful system, such a beautiful body, such a beautiful energy, And of course, in more simpler way, it's a coordination, it's a miscoordination of body, energy, and your soul.
Perfect. So it's a disharmony, she said, between mind, body, and soul. Yes, I observe this many times. People say something else, think something else, do something else. A person who loves drawing is doing engineering for what he doesn't know. So that's I understand. I agree with you. And let's ask Kento also. Kento, what do you think? What is the root cause of these stresses?
I think it depends on the situation. It may be from ourselves or from our environment.
Okay. She said it's the mindset that's the cause. If either you can be strong than the environment or environment will become strong on you, and the basic game changer is the mindset. I buy your thought what you said, Kento. So let's go to Alexander ji. Alexander is a famous name, and so Alexander has won over whole world also, and Amritananda is an eternal bliss. So, such a beautiful name you have. How to develop that mindset, which is a mindset of victor rather than a victim? Alexander ji, you have read Vedanta, you are practitioner of it. What Vedanta can contribute, as you said, in getting more purpose of life, purpose driven life, purposeful life, and developing a winning mindset? Because yes, stressors will be there. And people from all continents who are listening to us, please don't change your continent and countries. You won't get anything. You could see here four continents, same stressors. So don't run from the countries here to there. Let's try to develop a new mindset, and how Alexander Ji is going to tell us. Yes, Alexander Ji. How to develop that winning mindset.
Well, as you talk about my name, I will give it example. My name is Amritananda Dasa. So this Dasa in the end means that we are the servant. We are not exactly God. Yes, we are part and parcel with God. We are connected with it, but we are in the place of the Dasa, the servant. And in modern society, we see the servant as something bad, something that is suffering, that is serving, that is inferior. But it's in fact the opposite. The service is the manifestation of love. And when we don't accept and we want to be the leader, we want to be the boss, we want to be the conqueror of the nature and the other people, so we suffer because it's maya, it's illusion. And this creates anxiety, the desire, as Badrinath told, that we want something, we want to be the boss, and not the servant. So this is something that Vedanta taught me, that I am a spiritual soul, and serving others and serving God and all the humans and all in the nature, it's in fact a signal of spirituality, is in
Perfect.
fact how I can practice love, and these free my mind of many anxiety.
Thank you. So Amritananda Dasaji mentioned very beautifully. He said the mindset of service has to be installed because it will provide us a different way of looking at the world. I won't think what I want from the world, as Badrinath ji said, desires. The mind will say what I am giving to the world.
Exactly.
But the question comes is, Badrinath ji, you are in Netherlands. Europe materialistically has achieved a lot. How can you teach this servicemanship in the universities and colleges where kids and students and youth wants to have packages for themselves, everything for themselves? How will you teach this service, the ability to serve, the mindset of serve? Is it feasible?
So see, yoga has a complete message, I can say. So we have to like, because here people see it as a physical transformation. So we have to take some of the tools and like we have to explain them according to the way they live here, with the examples of what they are doing it here. So with that, so basically how I do like in my classes is that if I say like I'm going to teach a meditation, no one comes to the class. So so they come for the exercise, and we will ask them to explore their inner self, like through yoga nidra, through some of the tools and technologies. So they could be able to explore their inner self. So I can say like yoga has a complete message which can help them to go into true self, but taking it to them is very difficult. That we as a practitioners, we as a teachers have to work on how we should take it to the people. So how do we represent, how do we take our pedagogy, how do we change it to according to the modern scenario with modern examples?
Thank you. Badrinath ji, in a way, is trying to say, look, world is running too fast. And if world is running in this direction and you want them to run in that direction, then first thing is, he said, through yoga, he used the word yoga nidra. Slow them down first. Make them a bit slow first. Then make them stop and reflect. And once you reflect, probably you may turn the direction. But if you expect them to turn the direction all of a sudden, it's not possible. So he said we may need to use modern tools and examples for that. That's perfectly fine. Badrinath ji said that yoga can be another means through which we can slow down the pace in the wrong direction, or maybe not much thoughtful direction, if not wrong, and then provide a better direction to the youth. Bharti
Especially
ji,
they have to work on their kleshas, I can say.
exactly. Bharti ji, when it comes to kleshas, this was, you were talking about disharmony between mind, body, and soul. So, how to harmonize them?
Okay. Am I audible? Okay.
Yeah, loud and clear.
So, in according to yoga science, we have the five layer, five shita of our body. The first is the physical body, right? The annamaya kosha, and then pranamaya kosha. So, according to the yoga science, to reach the blissful state, anandamaya kosha, you have to purify all the koshas before. So, as Badrinathji told, that in yoga there are so many tools and techniques to purify our body, to purify our mind, to purify the energy. So, yoga is a complete science, yoga is a complete art through which we can really help someone to go into deeper meditative state, or to into a deeper spiritual practice. So through the asanas, through pranayam, through yoga nindras, so there are so many tools, techniques one can explore in yoga to harmonize your body, your mind, and your soul. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Bharti elaborated that particular word, stop. If you're running from that towards that side, first slow them down and stop them. So she said that first purify your body, then even your energies, then your mind, the way you feel about things, then your thoughts, Vigyanmaya Kosha, the way you think about things. And this will slow you down. Then you'll take a pause. And that pause is the bliss. And then in that blissful state, think about your purpose of life, like Amritananda Dasaji said. Now let's go to with this understanding. Let's ask Kanta. Kanta, you said that a different mindset. You must have seen people, as you were saying, in the same situations. They don't worry much. They do not take much stress. And some other people in the same situation, they are very much stressed. So, what is the difference of mindset you see in those people? In the same situation, some people feel stressed. In the same situation, some other people don't feel stress. What is the difference in mindset you see in those people who doesn't feel stress?
Yeah. Um.
Okay, let me rephrase the question if it is not clear. You you have created a movement for the youth. You are encouraging youth. So what kind of movement it is, and what do you want to encourage them in?
Yeah. I think for the person who do not take, they take always the prevention. Like they have to take it. For example, they use they manage our their time and they have an adequate sleep and finally they may be doing the mantra like I am the soul, I am not the emotion, and I am pure. As presented right in Isaiah 3, I am a child of God. So be yeah.
Perfect. She said that the moment she is running is to make youth understand that I am pure, I can deal with my emotions, and I can deal with my thoughts. So that's really good. How, in more practical terms, Amritananda Dasaji, what tips you can provide to our audience? You said that giving, servicemanship, ability to give. How will you convince this material world to start giving? Like, I have a neighbor, he is working in a multinational company. He is concerned about his package, and from that package, he will purchase a car. And for that, he need more money. And that's why he is investing in insurance. He is investing in share markets. Now, if I go and tell him, think of giving, being a servant, from where should I begin with? How should I begin with?
Well, that's a difficult question because we can't do much for others. Like, I think that spiritual search is something that we need to do by ourselves. We need to be open for that. We can't inspire others if they are not open for it. But we can try. And one thing that I remind me is the 5 M's that Swami Shivananda from Rishikesh, he always taught about. That is a proper food, like vegetarian food, proper postures, that is asana, and proper relaxation, that is shavasana, that people don't even know how to relax. And the others are the proper philosophy, that is Vedanta. So these aspects improve our quality of life, like how we eat. These affects our body, these affects our mind. So if we eat sattvic food, that food that is more connected with nature, without toxics, without suffering of animals, and in a healthy way, like we can benefit in our cell, in our body, and even on our mind. And the same goes by our proper exercise, doing asanas, pranayama, the proper breathing. This is all much important. Breathing is the key, because as we breathe, we can stimulate our mind and our body, and the beats of the heart. It's all connected. And how we breathe is slow and deep, and this connects our cells to slow down. So yoga is the key. Yoga is amazing. So we can benefit a lot from it.
Thank you.
But people need to be open.
So Amritananda Dasaji said, yes, the change can happen, but it comes from within. If you don't
Yeah.
have seed, it won't sprout. But then he said, what harm is there in trying? Otherwise, also, we are doing seva, as he said. And how to try? So he was very specific. First, start with your food habits. Make them more sattvic in nature. It will automatically start working inside and changing the thoughts. It will be subtle but stable. Then he said the physical postures, asanas. When you are active outside, you become active inside also. Dynamism will start reflecting. Third, he used a word that people don't know how to relax even. So he said that, again, he's saying that stay back and relax. The quality of sleep and even the quality of relaxation has gone so low in present times. So teach people how to even relax and how to even sleep. Then people know how to live evil. And with that, in a subtle way, gradually start learning Vedanta or any higher philosophy. Then you will be properly more prepared in a better mindset to deal with the world's stressors. Thank you, Alexander ji. Badrinath ji, will come to you with the point that you said that You will introduce these things with Yog Nidra, and it will be like toxic relationships you mentioned and the struggles of life you mentioned. Relationship is really a big issue in the youth of today. Any practical tips to deal with stresses of relationships?
So first thing is accept the people as they are.
Okay.
So once you accept them, like, because if you want to change them, it is not possible, right? So if you accept them, if you accept your wife, if you accept your father, if you accept them as they are, like, you will relieve from lot of stress. And secondly, let go the things. Ishwar pranidhan also we say, so like, and also you expect lot of results, you expect lot from others, like, because he is your mother, she is your mother, he is your father, you expect so much from them. So let go the things and do not make a lot of expectations. So these two will help to build your relationship. I practiced them. So when I started not expecting from others, so I could able to, I am happy. Like, when I started expecting and comparing with others, or and taking their criticism, also we have to avoid the criticism. Avoiding criticism is also one of the good thing. Because my guru Hansaji Yogendra used to say, life is between B and D, birth and death. Between you have a choice. C for choice. So choice lies within you. Like, what do you want to take from each and every step? Yeah.
Perfect. Three profound things: accept people as they are, let go of the things, don't have carry forward for everything in life. Let bygones be bygones, is over. We are too temporary to have permanent problems in life.
Yes.
And third is, don't criticize anybody. And if people criticize you, it's their opinion, period. You can't control it. Indeed. Thank you. Bharti ji, you mentioned about those five shields: body, mind, at the energy level and at the thought level, also bringing some change to bring harmony. Any practical tips for the audience? How should they begin from tomorrow morning?
So I would recommend pranayam. Breathing exercises are very fruitful, and it will really help them to release the stress, because there are many pranayams like Nadi Shodhan and Shitali, which really helps to uh, to uh, improve the parasympathetic nervous system, parasympathetic mode of nervous system, and which really help to make you very less stressed. And the secondly, I would recommend to do some restorative exercises like yoga or yin yoga. There are so many restorative exercises which you don't have to do a very hard gym or running, or which you have to put so much of physical effort. Restorative yoga session you can go for. It will help to reduce the cortisol level, which is the stress hormone again, and it will help to improve the happy hormones within you. And the most important is at least 10 to 20 minutes of silent sitting or a meditation. It will really help you to build the awareness, to create the practice of watchfulness. Once you create the awareness, create the practice of watchfulness, you'll know yourself that you are stressing in this moment, and you have a choice, you have a different perspective to see that situation, right? So I think meditation is one of the most
Thank
important
you.
stress
Thank
releaser.
you. Pranayama, that will activate your parasympathetic nervous system. Yoga, silence, meditation, and watchfulness. Kento from Madagascar, Africa. What is your suggestion to the youth of today? What should they do to deal with their stress? Any practical tips? Can anybody switch off their mic so that the voice will be more clear? When yes, Kento, carry on.
Yeah, it's very important to have an adequate sleep, and also uh, we should take a prevention like having a schedule for 1 week and do routine exercise and meditation and the mantra is, as I say, I am the soul, I am a child of God. I disintegrate the energy of space. Yeah.
Thank you very much. So she said that sleep well. That's important. Those basics are really very important. She said sleep well. And if all the ideas that people have put here, if you think they are too much, start with a 1 week schedule, she said. Okay, fine. You can't do it for long. Let's commit yourself for at least 7 days, you'll do it. And let body and mind respond to it. Start sharing it with people, whatever you feel like. And remember, you are the child of God. And the child of God is Amritasya Putra. You are eternal being. So, dear friends, amazing panelists we had today. And just to summarize what we discussed, we understood that the problems world over are same. Youth and people are concerned about job, emotional issues, decision making, self confidence, competition, safety, money, relationship, peer pressure, future, study, job, and whatnot. So, when the problem is same, the solution will also be the same. And the solution lies in handling with your desires, avoiding toxic relationships, what you call psychic vampires who sucks your psyche, and changing your lifestyle, as added by Badrinath ji. Amritananda Dasaji added, have more clarity about your own self, know your purpose of life, improve your understanding for yourself. Bharti ji added that the same stress which can lead to post traumatic disorder can also lead to post traumatic growth. And for that, we need to understand that how we can cope up with these changing requirements. We need to be more capable because incapability leads to stress. Kento said, develop a new mindset. A mindset that we are pure, we can handle our emotions and we can handle our thoughts. So, how can we handle our emotions, thoughts, and develop a new mindset? Badrinath ji said, when people are going in that direction, gradually stop them and make them think. He suggested Yoga Nidra. Use new tools. And then finally, when they stop, they need to reflect back and then they may change the direction. What should be that new direction? Alexander ji said, the feeling of being a servant for a higher cause. The feeling of giving back to the society in love rather than suppressing, let's surrender. And in that feeling, you may feel more fresh, less stressed. How to go about it? Bharti added, by creating a perfect harmony in mind, body, and soul through these 5 shields. Start with your body, prana, energy, mind, thoughts, and then once you reach a bliss, then think about changing the direction. How to go about it? Badrinath ji mentioned accept things, accept relationships as they are. Let go of the things. Avoid criticizing anybody, and if somebody criticizes you, it's their own opinion. And between birth and death, there is a choice, and we are the choice makers. So, what choices should we make? We should make choices in 5 M's, in the words of Swami Shivananda said, Amritananda Dasaji. Change your food habits for good. Sattvic. Assure your body posture to be better. Learn how to relax properly. Learn a greater philosophy of life. Breathe properly. How to go about it? Bharti said, do pranayama, it will activate your parasympathetic nervous system. Be in silence for some time, enough of crowd. Enter in yoga, meditation, and create watchfulness. It is too much? Then Kento says, start with a week's schedule. Sleep well at least, you can sleep enough. It will help give you mental health. Start with a week schedule. If you are too much filled, start sharing with people around. It will make you feel better. And never forget, we are the children of God. Amritasya Putra we are. Thank you very much, dear friends. I hope that you will have Lots of learning today, and I will thank to our esteemed panelists also. Thank you very much. We'll be in touch. Namaste.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for the wonderful session.
Imam Deenji was born on 15th of August 1976 at household of Akbar Khan, Jaisalmer, Rajasthan. Belonging to the royal family of musicians called Alam Khana Gharana, Manganiyars community, who are professional singers and musicians who traditionally performed for their jajmans, also known as patrons, Rajput families. He plays khartal, which are 4 pieces of wood and is played by hand, traditionally made from shisham wood or teak, since this produces the required rhythm or the best of the sounds possible. This instrument is played by Manganiyars and the Langa communities in Jaisalmer and Barmer. Used during religious and social celebrations, the instrument derives its name from the Hindi words khara, meaning hand, and tala, meaning rhythm, rhythm of the hand. He is the artistic director of Ustad Arba Music Group and has performed in many national and international folklore festivals all over the world. He has been working with many Indian as well as international researchers, students, anthropologists, authors, and musicologists for their projects of study and research in the field of folk music, art, culture, traditions, and professional performers. He is also honored by Vice President of Croatia for Best Performance in the 42nd International Folklore Festival. Welcome, Imam Deenji.
Namaskar. My name is Imam Din. I am from Jaisalmer, Rajasthan, India. I am artistic director of the Ustad Arba Music and Dance Group and also co-artistic director of Rajasthani Heartbeat. I play the kartal. It's a piece of wood, 4 pieces of the wood I learned from my family. I would like to request you to join United Consciousness Conclave on 18th and 19th December 2021.
Thank you so much, Imam Deenji. It was really interesting to hear about the folklore music of Jaisalmer, Rajasthan.
I'm glad to welcome our next guest, Ms. Shailja, who is a versatile being. She's an author, certified integral yoga and Manasa yoga teacher, TV host and speaker. She grew up in Coimbatore, India, but she is based in Malaysia. She has over 20 years of teaching experience and is the founder of Mat and Am Beyond Yoga Studio. She hosted Yoga Shakti, a TV series on Anand TV based in UK. She conducts online asana and pranayama and dhyana classes in UK and USA. Over the years, she has been invited to speak at several educational institutions and organizations in Malaysia, India, and USA. She has been featured in leading newspapers in India. Ms. Shailja hosts podcasts on Facebook with eminent personalities in yoga and Vedanta. She is a passionate advocate of mental wellness through the tools of yoga, including asana, pranayama, dhyana, mantra, and yoga sutra philosophy. And she seeks to share that knowledge through every platform available to her. So, ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together to welcome Ms. Shailja.
Namaste, everyone. So, first of all, I would like to thank all of you for being here with me. And I would also like to offer my gratitude to United Consciousness Conclave 2021 for giving me this wonderful opportunity to be here and to share my love for yoga. The yoga practice has literally shaped my life over the years, and it is something that I am extremely grateful for. And because of that, I'm extremely happy to share whatever I have learned over these last 22 years. Now, before we start, as I've been teaching for over 20 years now, I have had many questions on meditation. Now, today I'm going to be guiding you through a meditation session, which is going to be based on the Anahata or the heart chakra. But before that, to just give a little bit of context on meditation, I would just like to say that meditation and yoga are not separate practices. Yeah, because always I keep getting questions from my students: do you teach yoga or do you teach meditation? Like they're two separate practices. But according to the Patanjali Yoga Sutras, the meditation is actually the seventh limb of the Ashtanga Yoga that he has laid out for the sadhakas or practitioners on the path. So we have before that the yamas, the niyamas, asana, pranayama, pratyahara, dharana, and then we come to meditation, now which is called dhyana. Now, the other thing that I want to touch upon is that today yoga, meditation have all become huge marketing jargons, right? World over, these words are used to market a lot of things, including I think there's yoga beer as well, so or beer yoga. So just to bring it back to the context that meditation as well today is being so easily marketed as something that you just sit in a corner, close your eyes, and you're doing meditation. But to bring it back to the original context of the practice, which is through the scriptures and the sutras, if you look at the meditation practice, really it is about all of these different aspects being integrated into that 20 minutes that we sit every day. Yeah, so we think that it's just that 20 minutes, but actually, every single thought that we have during the day, every single action that we do during the day, all of that is reflected in that 20 minutes that we sit for our meditation practice. Yeah, so it is so important to understand that all of these different limbs of the yoga practice should be integrated into our everyday lives for our meditation to actually bear fruit. Yeah, the other thing is that meditation, we keep saying, I do meditation, I do meditation. But according to the ancient sages, meditation is not something that we can do. Meditation is like a state that we receive. But like gardeners, right, what we can do is cultivate the soil of our consciousness to make it fertile to receive the blossoms of meditation. Yeah, so like a gardener, we too have to create that fertile environment by removing the weeds, yeah, in our garden, yeah, the garden of our mind. And these weeds are what we call the shatrupos. And all of them, kama, krodha, moha, mada, matsarya, all of them go into creating anger, ill will, greed, desire to get back at people, revenge. All of that is what, when we sit for our meditation practice, will be clouding our minds. Yeah, so we have to be conscious of all of these different elements, and we also have to be putting in fertilizer, right? Like how a gardener puts in fertilizer into the mind, we also have to put in that fertilizer into our mind by bringing in, again, according to Maharishi Patanjali in the Yoga Sutras, he gives these beautiful, what he calls the Chatur Bhavana, yeah, Maitri, Karuna, Mudita, Upekshanam, which is friendliness, goodwill to all, and compassion to all beings, as well as a very beautiful quality of upekshanam, which is also called equanimity. And this again is reiterated by Lord Krishna in the Bhagavad Gita, where one of the most famous definitions of yoga is samatvam yoga uchyate, which is also that similar principle of that equanimity of mind, that evenness of mind and temperament. So all of this has to be installed into our everyday lives as well. It has to be, kind of, what do you say, like how a gardener puts it into, planted into our, the minds of our, the consciousness, so that eventually those beautiful flowers of meditation can arise. So with this, I'd like to start the practice. It's a guided meditation practice. And I would request all of you to understand that this is really all about the mind. Yeah, this is mind work. So when you step into the practice, the first thing that we have to do is take a step back and witness our thoughts objectively, right? So the what I tell my students is like how we sit in a theater and we witness a movie, right, playing out in front of us. And that movie has all these different casts. It has heroes, heroines, villains, supporting casts. Similarly, we too have to sit back, take a step back from the mind, and simply objectively witness the mind. And then, and the state is called sakshi bhava. Yeah, and when we are in that witnessing state, or that state of witnessing consciousness, then we can see all of these different characters in our lives. So we see the movie of our lives, yeah, playing out in the screen of our minds. And we see heroes and heroines and supporting casts and all of this playing out. And the movie is our own lives. Yeah. So, and that is so important to do. It is so important to develop that capacity to objectively witness our minds, because only then can we be objective about our lives and the situations that we are in. As long as we are compulsively and obsessively caught up with our minds and we believe we are the minds, we are stuck in it. Yeah, to be able to become unstuck, to be able to release ourselves from that, very deep, tight grip of the compulsions of the mind, we need to be able to be objective. We need to be able to take a step back, and we need to be able to access that state of the witness consciousness, sakshi bhava. So as we step into the practice, please try to connect to this, and also know that the whole practice is about focus, it is about concentration, it is about attention. So as we go deeper into the limbs of yoga as well, if you see dharana, dhyana, samadhi, all of this requires that very deep focus. Yeah, that capacity to work with our minds, the capacity to direct our minds, the capacity to have some semblance of ability to control the direction of our minds. Yeah, and before all of that, that basic understanding that when we are unconscious, we are always enslaved by the minds. Yeah, so the yoga path is really a path of freedom. Yeah, to be able to get a release from the grip of the samskaras and vasanas that usually have such a tight grip over our lives, and to be able to consciously put in new patterns. And for all of this, one, we need to have that awareness of the mind where we are right now, and two, that capacity to consciously direct our minds. Yeah, so this is the practice, this is what we're going to do. So it's important for me to say all this so that you know what this is about. And I'm going to lead you through a practice called the Atha 16, which is taught in the Manasa Yoga style that I teach, and which my teacher Manoj Kaimal, he was inspired from the Gharanda Samhita, one of the scriptures of the yoga, to to get this practice. Yeah, so we're going to go over 16 points. Most of them are either chakras, energy centers, or bindu points, which are focal points of consciousness. And eventually, we're going to come to the heart, and we're going to connect with the rest of the universe through that heart space. Yeah. So just close your eyes and just objectively witness your mind. Yeah. So just ask yourself, this is a question that we ask ourselves from time to time. Know that your yoga practice is not just this 10 minutes that we do, whether in class or in a session. It's really a 24-hour continuous practice that goes on. Yeah. So all of this that I'm telling you now is something that you can take back into your everyday lives. So just be aware of your mind. Where is your mind? What is it caught up in? Who is it caught up with? Right? And then we connect not just to objectively seeing, right, where is the mind and what the mind is doing, which is very important as well. And then we can also connect to a more subtle aspect of the practice, which is connecting to the energy state of the mind, right? So when we connect to the mind, what is the energy of the mind, right? Is the energy lifted? Is the energy low? All of this we can see through regular practice, through connecting. Okay, and then we go into the Atha 16 practice with the awareness that we are not just the limited selves that we believe we are. We are not just only the body that we are so obsessed with. That in the Vedanta practice they talk about the different koshas, yeah, which is the Annamaya, the Pranamaya, the Manomaya. So basically all of this is the layer of the body, the layer of the energy, the layer of the mind, the layer of the intellect, Vijnanamaya, and then there is the Anandamaya, the layer of bliss. So we are all of these different layers, and we make an attempt through the practice to connect to at least some of them. So as you become aware of your body, consciously directing your attention to your right big toe, just sensing. So we sense first the physicality of that area, which is the Annamaya. And then we also try to connect to the energy component. So initially, maybe these words won't make much sense. We probably can't connect to energy, but as we keep with the practice, yeah, as we continuously connect to these concepts, different aspects of our being will begin to open up to us. Become aware of your pelvic floor. So just sensing your pelvic floor, the front of your pelvic floor, the back of your pelvic floor, the middle of the pelvic floor. So just bringing your attention, and even if you don't really connect to any of these areas, just being in the path, just being with the practice, right? That is the yoga practice. From thinking of 100 different things, you're directing your mind to connect to specific aspects. From Shipta to Ekagrata. So in that pelvic floor, you're connecting to the Muladhara space, yeah, which is the root chakra. So just sensing all of that. Become aware of the middle of your upper pelvis. So you can connect your navel, and that lower abdominal space below the navel is the area of the Swadhisthana space. So just becoming aware of that space, just bringing your attention to all of these different areas. Become aware of the navel, right? So here you're connecting to two capacities. Yeah, one is that capacity to consciously move your mind where you choose. Okay, so remember I said we're enslaved by the mind. So usually the mind decides where to go. But here you are establishing some control over the mind by directing your mind consciously to different areas. And then you're also developing that capacity to hold your attention. So just holding your attention at the navel space, the space of Manipura. Become aware of the heart space, Anahata. So moving your mind consciously, moving your attention consciously. Just sensing that heart space, that beautiful space of Anahata. Become aware of the throat, Vishuddhi. Just sensing the throat space. Okay, and then exploring different points here. Some of them are Bindu points. So become aware of the back wall of your mouth. Okay, and even if they're unfamiliar to you, it's actually more interesting because it requires more attention. So really honing in on your attention, attuning to all of these different areas, and sensing that shift in your state of mind to a more focused, attentive state. The root of your tongue, the tip of your tongue, Just really tasting all of these areas. Let them not be just words, but felt experiences. The tip of your nose, the bridge of your nose, the center of your forehead. Okay, and again, this is another very beautiful, very important chakra space, the space of Agnya. Just holding your attention there for a while. And as you explore that space, connecting first to the, finding that location first, the physicality of it, the Annamaya, and then trying to delve into that Pranamaya, trying to sense the energy component there. And as you keep your attention there, you can feel a little buildup of energy. And if you don't, that's perfectly okay as well. Like I said, all of these are continuous practices built over years of practice. And then become aware of the space inside your skull, just sensing that inner space. And then slowly directing your attention to the crown of your head, which is the space of the Sahasrara chakra, the 1,000-petal lotus or the thousands of petal lotus. So knowing that while you have a physical body, the layer of the Annamaya, you also have an energy body, the subtle body, which has all of these energy centers and Bindu points. And through all of this, we connect to that universal consciousness. Now bring your attention to the heart space, the space of Anahata, through which we connect to the space and the hearts of all other beings as well. So that primordial beat in the heart is also what beats in all other hearts as well. So just sensing that beautiful space of Anahata. And in your mind's eye, visualizing in the heart space, the mandala of the Anahata, which is a 6-sided dark blue hexagon made up of 2 interlaced triangles, one pointing upward and the other downward. And all of these are such beautiful references. The triangle pointing upwards denotes our connection to the universe, while the triangle pointing downwards reflects our embodiment as human beings. So to know that we have the capacity to be able to connect to more than ourselves. And we have the capacity to build relationships with other people in our families, in our localities, in our countries. And eventually we have the capacity to connect to the universe. All of this lies in that beautiful space of the heart. So just continuing to stay here, connecting to beautiful elements of the heart space, the qualities of unconditional love, gratitude, appreciation, the ability to connect deeply with ourselves and others, the ability to build bridges and tear down walls. All of this arises from the beautiful space of the Anahata. And here we connect to the Bija mantra of the Anahata, which is yum. But when we produce that sound at the Vaikari level, the level that can be heard, it is pronounced as young with a G. So we just chant that 3 times using the sound of the Ahata, which is a created sound, to connect to the Anahata, which is that primordial sound. So in order to chant, inhale deeply, and then as you exhale with the yang. 3 rounds of this. And then we sit in silence to connect to the vibrations of the Bija mantra. Now staying with the sound of silence as you connect to the vibrations of the beautiful and the sacred Bija mantra. Shifting your consciousness from the gross to the subtle, from what is heard to what is unheard, from what is seen to the unseen, from what is not present to the ever present. Visualizing that beautiful space of the heart where the presiding deity is Ishvara and the feminine energy is Kakini. In the scriptures it is said that it is in the heart space that whoever we may consider as our God resides, that supreme universal reality, that infinite intelligence, that realm of infinite possibilities. We connect to all of that in that heart space. That space of the Anahata. And as we breathe in and out, we connect to that Ajapa Gayatri or the Soham, which can also be Ahamsa, I am. So each time you inhale, just mentally chanting Aham, I am, as we connect to that individual identity that we are. And as you exhale, mentally repeating Sa, that universal consciousness I am too, that we all are. So there is a beautiful visualization of the ocean and the waves So, like the wave arises from the ocean, we too arise from that individual consciousness, aham. And like that wave flows back into the ocean, we too eventually go back to our universal consciousness state, sa. So, just for a few breaths, mentally repeating that, visualizing the ocean and the wave, connecting to that state of universal consciousness. And I'd just like to close the session with a beautiful Gayatri mantra for the chakra. Om Tanmaheshaya Vidmahe Mahadevaya Dhimahi Tanno Rudra Prachodayat. Om Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinah Sarve Santu Niramaya Sarve Bhadrani Pashyantu Ma Kaschit Dukha Bhag Bhavet. Om Lokha Samastha Sukhino Bhavantu Sarve Janaha Sukhino Bhavantu. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Hari Om Tat Sat. Namaste all.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Shaljaji, for wonderful guided meditation. I'm sure the vibrations of united consciousness, vibrations of us being together in consciousness through you will reach to millions in future. Thank you very much for being with us today, for guiding us through a wonderful meditation. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
On behalf of United Consciousness, I thank Ms. Shelja for coming onto the platform of United Consciousness. Thank you so much. I'm very honored and delighted to welcome our performance from the organization Play for Change. Play for Change is not only the organization, but it is a movement created to inspire and connect the world through music and break the boundaries. They reimagine a world connected by music to spread a global message of hope and unity. Playing for Change was born in 2002 as a shared vision between co-founder Mark Johnson and Whitney Kroenke. This musical journey resulted in the award-winning documentary, A Cinematic Discovery of a Street Music. Today, Play for Change is playing the song With My Own Two Hands. In the group we have ADT Burqa Group from Burkina Faso, Bayu Hawa from Nepal, Aaron Mendoza from Spain, Camelia Silve from Brazil, Saint Levy from Haiti, Warren Perrins from USA, Gugo Macaldo from Brazil, Jean Francis Gay from Haiti, Ayeti from Port-au-Prince, Haiti, Chantal Urbain from Canada, Mel Seme from Spain, Rajiv Shrestha from Nepal, Masa Dembele from Burkina Faso, Yenega Boys from Burkina Faso, Rameshwar Mahajan from Nepal, Zedalas from Burkina Faso, Powell Tanbo from Haiti, Orchestra Confluence from France, Luis Pengues from Argentina, Minstrel of Hope from Philippines.
with my own two hands. Make a kind of play with my own two hands. With my own two hands. With my own two hands.
T'as changé mon âme avec des mains moins. Fais un monde qui vit bon avec des mains moins. Fais un monde qui vit tout avec des mains moins. Avec deux mains moins. Avec deux mains moins.
Gonna make it a brighter place. Gonna make it a safer place. Gonna help human rights with my own two hands.
Je veux changer le monde avec mes deux mains. Faire un monde meilleur avec mes deux mains. Faire un monde plus doux avec mes deux mains. 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 I'm gonna make it a brighter place. I'm gonna make it a safer place. I'm gonna help the human race. And I hold you. And I hold you. But you got to use your own two hands. With my own
On behalf of United Consciousness, I thank Play for Change musical group for coming onto the platform of United Consciousness and giving such a wonderful performances. Thank you so much.
Thanks, everybody. As we see that today is the fourth day of the United Consciousness Conclave coming to a conclusion. Right? What an amazing 4 days run. If you have not seen or watched the episodes or these panel discussion or the talks before, I recommended everybody to strongly look at that the December 11th and 12th and the 18th and 19th. And today is the last event. This is the third event today. And what an amazing panels and guests we have lined up today. The discussion that we had has been wonderful and thought-provoking. Starting with Dr. P.K. Patnaik, the Honorable Chief Guest of this today's program, has amazingly started with saying the world peace. And the world peace it's never ending. And it's always happening is a part he highlighted. And in that way, do we never stop not having a world peace, right? It is this, we know it is not achievable, but we should not try it at all. That's the thought-provoking question he started with. And he says, there are choices in the life and there are things that you take it for granted. And then he said, people are not aware of themselves, right? What their action they take and what actions are available, right? It simply starts with you before the world get peace. Is a wonderful thought that Dr. Patnaik today, our chief guest, has started with. Right? We all of us need to contribute to the world peace. It just does not come to you. You contribute to the world is a starting point with it. Our chief guest has made it today. Then moving on to our next guest in the Jose Narayananda from Brazil, he highlighted three simple points of how Yoga Sutra identifies what wrongly understand ourselves, we wrongly associate with ourselves. And he pointed out a very simple point from Arjuna, where he has control over his bow and arrow and the strong winds, but he cannot control his mind. Is it even possible, or it is even like achievable, is what a simple question Arjuna asked Krishna. And Krishna has beautifully lay out from the Bhagavad Gita there. Yes, Gita has that solution, and you should be able to manage your external instrument as well as our internal mind. Without that, we could not be able to achieve what we want to achieve in this world. And beautifully, he I coined a new word today, and Mr. Vikram Singh Samar also highlighted that is the immunity ojas, or this immunity as a mental immunity. Right, we all think of the immunity is from only the body level, where we take certain type of sattvic food or like certain kind of practices, but we never think of a mental immunity. That's like really, really a kind of a highlight, to say your thought process need to be like also immunized. That's the way that's going to evolve into the steps that we want to. And he also provided a solution, right? Use your abhyasa and vairagya. There are like simple techniques, simple steps that you have to start build up your immunity. And this is like a different perspective of how you approach to the problems, right? How you want to kind of think, where do you take this issues, or how do you want to start addressing the issues. And there are different steps that he highlighted. And then we went more on to another guest. The next guest is Anton, where he highlighted this happiness, this external happiness versus the internal happiness, and very simply mentioned how the external happiness is start shortfalls. Right, it is just like it gives a happiness today, next day it's gone. Where is it? And then you work all over the world again, right? And it stops, and it goes on and stops. It goes on and stops there. It's never like a sustained way. And this external happiness, people chasing for it is the number one problem. And how to turn to your internal happiness, which is always sustainable, and it is achievable, and it is within you always, is the simplest point, I think. Dr. Anton, and thus I highlighted in the very beautiful speech from Brazil. Very, very appreciative of that part there. Then today we had a Gabriel who did the yoga therapy, which is an amazing way of a simple smile with yoga. Right? I do yoga for many years, and I never thought I should able to smile along with while doing the yoga. Right? And every step he mentioned, you have to smile with your breathe. What it does is like your happiness, the way that the whole topic of the discussion is, like you smile, your subconscious started observing that each and every action you smile to, not only smile, you will talk, not only smile to the others, you talk your own smileness when you do your yogas and asanas and postures, which is a beautiful way of doing therapy, and highlights for your yoga practices. It's a wonderful practice that I think, as we put all this theory into the practice, that's the today's session at the asanas level. It's a beautiful thing. So you should thank Gabriel for that. And when come to the panel discussion of today's youth, as you can, Mr. Thomas highlighted, the stress is all over the world. Whether you travel from one continent to other continent, the stress does not go away. And either it is Alexander or the Badrinath or the other Bharati or Kanto highlighted that the root causes are like slightly maybe a different. It could be the social issues or the toxic relations that you have, or you have like something that you don't understand what is happening with you. And Alexander beautifully highlighted that, look, don't try to conquer the world, start serving the world. then your whole shift, it will come to the where the happiness and the stress kind of changes is there. And the panel goes on to say, what are the simple things that you want to do, right? You are running too fast. First of all, slow down and then see whether you can turn back or not. And then how do you turn back? Always I uses this 5 koshas model where Bharati has highlighted there, which will be in a wonderful, wonderful way that that we all should look at it. Look at this, many of the simple the techniques, whichever works for you, start with that, right? And then the panel went on to say what your things that works out for you, what it is not working for you, try. And if nothing works, I think one of the panels said, just get some sleep for 1 week. They completely relax. Maybe that's one of the beautiful things, that sometimes people don't get enough sleep to figure out where their problems are there, and then start with that. And finally, Mr. Khan made one of the beautiful music, which I have not heard it before. I think we are all gifted to learn such music instruments available, and we are able to hear them in this conclave. And this is United Consciousness power, right? We are able to connect with the different peoples and the different music levels where we are able to come in and display their beautiful. I felt the instrument was talking, not like the person. The instrument was really talking to us and sending some messages here, literally from the Khan's music. And as highlighted before, this Playing for Change. What an amazing, amazing tune. I think that's like one of the highlights of this today's music that we are really able to hear. And to conclude our program today, we have to thank Shailaja Menon from Malaysia to provide a beautiful meditation practice where he laid out, yes, you start with the asana, you start looking internally, just in the piece of like everyday 20 minutes of meditation. 5 minutes of meditation, start with if you cannot, and then go gradually, and then you are able to look at your emotions, your thoughts, and then how the knowledge will come in, and the 5 layers, how it going to work with you, is all highlighted very, very, very today. And I want to thank all the guests who came today, and all the panel discussions happened today. I want to thank each and every one of them, directly or indirectly. They have supported those panels. And on behalf of this United Conscious team, there are numerous people worked in the background. Not every name is mentioned here, but I want to thank each and everyone from all over the world. Project Self India and Project Self USA. I want to thank each and every one of your time contributions to make this world, this event very, very successful. And I will conclude the speech. And I also want to one full thank to Vikrant Singh Thamar to bring this as a visionary, to bring everybody to the team. I want to thank Vikrant Singh Thamar for arranging such a platform, an amazing thing, along with Rajesh Rabindranath from the USA, from the Project Self. Thank you very much.
सर्वे भवन्तु सुखिनः सर्वे सन्तु निरामयाः सर्वे भद्राणि पश्यन्तु मा कश्चित् दुःखभाग् भवेत्।
This shloka means, may everyone be happy, may everyone be free from all diseases, may everyone see goodness and auspiciousness in everything, may none be unhappy or distressed. Om Shantihi, Shantihi, Shantihi. I am highly privileged to have this opportunity to present my gratitude to all those who have witnessed and blessed this event directly or indirectly. I believe that this is not the end, but the beginning of our journeys. The journeys towards the noble cause of removing the 14 divides rooted in human race and promoting harmonious and peaceful coexistence. Firstly, I thank the God for blessing us all in this conclave to take our first step towards the noble mission. I thank European Yoga Federation, Swami Suryananda Saraswati Ji, Ms. Amy Blesio, Ms. Emilia, Sarah, Danielia, Christine, and also thank the Spiritual Council in Africa. I owe my heartfelt thanks to our esteemed chief guest, Shri Dinesh Patnaik, DG ICCR, to spare his valuable time for this event. I am grateful to our speakers, Dr. Jose Ruge, Dr. Anton Vizjak. I am also very thankful to our learned panelists, Mr. Alexander Amritananda Dasa, Ms. Bharati Thapa, Ms. Canto Revelisova. I extend my thanks to our yoga expert, Mr. Gabriel Arizola, and meditation expert, Ms. Shelja Manon. I am thankful to our performers Baba Adnan Ashram, Darvish Dance, and Play for Change musical group. I owe my heartfelt thanks to Team Project Surf USA, Shri Rajesh Rabindranath, Ms. Pavitra Srinivasan, Ms. Madhurika Arvind, Ms. Rashmi Kashi, Dr. Prasad Akavu, Dr. Vijay Reddy, Ms. Gina Suresh, Mr. Karthik Palamalai, Mr. K.L. Alexander, Mr. Venkat Sriram Lalu, Ms. Deepthi Nair, Ms. Avneet Bad, Mr. Suresh, Mr. Devaraju, Ms. Deepa Arun. I thank Team Project Surf Bharat, Dr. Vikrant Singh Tomar, Dr. Shweta Tomar, Aditi Meghna Mausan Prachi, Mr. J.S. Juneja, Dr. Paramji Juneja, Rishi Vishalji Arnav, Aditya Ashwin, Rati Dharmendraji Uday, Poojaji Bhartiji, Diptiji, Amrishji, Mrinalniji, Khushbuji, Jimmyji. Mr. Sanjay Rajput, Ms. Simran Reel. Very much thankful to our wonderful audience and all the visible and invisible sources blessing us.